Welcome back to Get Down to Business, the show all about small business, jobs, and entrepreneurship. And I'm thrilled to introduce you to the man who is possibly the only person left who will tell you the entire truth about e-commerce, whether you like it or not. That's his tagline, and that's Chris Malta, who has been a successful business owner for more than 47 years, starting at the age of 15. He spent more than 30 of those years in e-commerce and online marketing. Can't wait to talk all about these topics, which I know are really of interest to all of our listeners. So, Chris Malta, welcome to the program.
Thank you, Shalom. Appreciate being here.
Absolutely. I'd love to find out why you caught the bug at age 15 to get into this world of entrepreneurship and the rough and tumble world of business.
Well, I actually grew up in it. It's the kind of family I grew up in. Everybody in my family owns a business. It's really interesting. From the time I was a little kid. And if you look at my parents, my aunts, my uncles, my cousins, my parents actually owned their own separate companies. And in my family, there are, real estate brokerages. There are furniture stores, restaurants, car, boat, RV dealerships. I mean, you name it. So growing up, every holiday party was everyone talking about business. Every birthday, same thing. So by the time I was 15, my mother actually registered my first corporation because I was too young to do it. So yeah, it's been a lifelong thing.
And now it's pretty cool because now you're teaching folks, which is awesome. I know you've taught over 800 live online e-commerce workshops, totaling more than 6,000 hours of live e-commerce mentoring. You're a published business author. The book is Scams Revealed: Ultimate Guide to Avoiding Scams for Work at Home e-biz owners. And you got a lot more that we could just go on and on and on about. So you're saying, Chris, that you didn't get into this whole world of e-commerce just because of the pandemic and you couldn't come into an office. You've actually been a believer in this topic.
Yeah, you know what? I started in e-commerce way back before it was e-commerce, from 1992. Usenet news groups, marketing there. I've been marketing in every which way you can in e-commerce ever since then. Okay, but the biggest problem, as you said, the biggest problem that I see is it's such a scam market now. There's so many people taking so much money from people. And one of the things that I'm trying to do is show everyone that you don't have to spend a lot of money and waste a lot of time with, all these junk tools and apps and services. So that's kind of where I am right now.
Sure. Well, perfect jumping off point. I mean, right now, economy, it's a weird economy. I mean, coming out of the pandemic, there's certainly a lot of things that have been in business for sure. Definitely a lot of things going on in the world. But I guess I know all of our listeners are asking this question of, can you make money online during inflation?
One of the things that I talk about with inflation is people still want to buy things. Okay, psychologically, it still makes people feel good to be able to buy things. Now, not just things they need, but things they want. But a lot of that has to do with price point. And this is something we always talk about. It wasn't just the workshops that I did for all those years. I've been teaching e-commerce for 10 years now. I've taught over 3,000 people. So basically, one of the things we talk about is watch your price points. We talk about retail pricing, making sure that whatever you're selling has a retail price between $35 and $125. $35 being the minimum, which is the point of diminishing returns. Okay, so if you sell something that costs less than $35 at retail, then you end up with having to sell too many of that product to sustain a business really well. But if you go over about $125, and this fluctuates, we call this the luxury line. Okay, the perception that people have once you hit 125 and go higher is, that sounds a little expensive. Below 125, people will say, yeah, I could put that on a card, no problem. But you go over that, it sounds too expensive to them. The luxury line used to waver around $250 or so. But if you take a look at the big stores, the way they inflation-proof themselves, places like Walmart and Target and all those stores, probably better than 80 to 85% of everything they sell is between $35 and $125. Because they know that even in inflationary periods, which are going to come and go no matter what, we always rotate through these inflationary periods. Mm-hmm. And even so, if you price yourself properly, people will still buy because they want to feel normal. Okay, they want to be able to buy, but you just have to be careful of those price points.
I'm chatting with the guru of everything e-commerce. That's Chris Malta. He's written quite a bit, taught on this topic quite a bit. And Chris, we're going to cut the break in about a minute. But why do you believe so many people fail at this line of work in online businesses and e-commerce?
2 words: quick and easy. This is what people see all over YouTube. Okay, quick and easy. It's going to be quick. It's going to be easy. You're going to make a ton of money by next week. It's not true. It's never been true, but people want to believe it because quick and easy, it sounds great, right? These people who sell these get-rich packages on Amazon give us $35,000 and give me $50,000, in the first or second month, right? All of the shortcuts, Shalom, those are the problem. People don't understand that you actually have to work for the money that you earn, especially when you're building a business. And that's where the biggest downfall is people go for all the quick and easy stuff. And these people are taking them for a ride because when people say this is quick and easy, what they're going to do is they're going to give you information that is insufficient. It's not complete, so that you have to buy the next thing and the next thing and the next thing. What people really need to do is learn how to build and run a business.
Sure. I'm chatting with Chris Malta, and I know that you promised to teach people the hard truth about e-commerce, and it is possible to make money, but it does require, big takeaway over here, it does require hard work. And when we come back from our break, we're going to continue talking about what kind of hard work it takes and why folks need to get in touch with you, because I know you've got a lot of content out there that can be really, really valuable to many of you amazing listeners to get down to business. So definitely check out my website, shalomklein.com. I'll link to Chris and all of his amazing work. But don't touch that dial, because we're going to come right back, continue talking about e-commerce and the hard work needed to make good money. Welcome back to Get Down to Business. I've been chatting with the author of The Ultimate Guide to Avoiding Scams for Work at Home e-biz owners, as well as the possibly the only person left who will tell you the entire truth about e-commerce, whether you like it or not. We've just been chatting with Chris Malta, continuing our conversation. So Chris, we don't have too much time left in our conversation, but I'm curious, what can people expect when they decide to get into e-commerce? How long should they allow? How much money should they put in? And tell us that a bit of that hard truth.
Well, I can tell you that when I teach e-commerce, it's an 18-course education, Shalom. This took me 3 years to write. This is an education that is made up of 120 sections. It was written to be a 2-year degree program, colleges and universities, okay? So that is the reality of learning a business. Now, growing up, I was lucky. I had mentors because of the family that I grew up in. I had people to tell me, no, you can't just pass this off on someone else. You have to learn how to do it. I use the pizza shop example once in a while when I talk to people. If you're going to own a pizza shop, the first thing you need to know is how to find a good location. You've got to know how to decorate the place. You have to be able to order the equipment. You've got to be able to set up the POS system. You've got to teach people how to make the pizza. You know how to use the pizza ovens, how to clean the grease trap. When you own a business, you have to know everything about that business. Too much today, everyone is being told, hire virtual assistants. Use this program, this app, this tool, this shipping company, do this, do that. And it's all supposed to sound simple, but it really isn't, because nobody actually learns how to actually run a business. And, this is about not just being able to choose the products that you need to sell online, because that makes a big difference in profit margin. You need to choose, your business type. You need to be able to understand what keywords are, why and how they work if you're ever going to be found in a search engine. You need to understand how to create content. And lately, this is one of my pet peeves lately. I've been seeing everyone talking about OpenAI and ChatGPT. Like, AI is going to write all their marketing content for them. Which is it's just crazy. I mean, I've seen all these people basically hopping up and down on YouTube saying, hey, you don't have to write marketing content anymore. Quick and easy. Guess what? Use an AI. But guess what else? Google hates to be fooled. Google has a web spam team that has been in operation for over a decade, and their only job is to stop people from being fooled. They have their own AI called Spam Brain. Spam Brain can see AI-generated content coming from a mile away. So you use AIs to write your marketing content, Google's going to catch it, and you're going to end up in the trash heap of the rankings. Okay, so every time something like this comes along, these so-called gurus on YouTube pop up and down and tell you, oh, this is going to be wonderful, it's going to be wonderful. It's just like when article spinners came out years ago. That was supposed to be the magic answer to never having to do your own content work ever again. And life would be beautiful all the time, and money would be.
Well, Chris, I don't want to share all the secrets because we want to send people over to your website. You've got a lot of resources. Now I understand that listeners of our short conversation are not going to be conferred with a 2-year degree from you, Chris. It's going to require a little bit more time and a little bit more work, but they can do it. They can make money if you're willing to put the work in and you're willing to do it properly. Chris, I want to make sure our listeners find your book, find your content, and get in touch with you. How can we do that?
Very simple, chrismalta.com. Everything is there. Free video series about e-commerce, free book. The e-commerce book is free, or the spam book is free. Everything is free there.
Everything's free, but it's not going to be easy. It's going to require some hard work. So, Chris, I appreciate you educating us on that. And I can't wait to have you back on to continue this conversation because the world is evolving and our listeners, I know, want to learn more about how they can do well. But like you said, learn the hard truth. So thank you, Chris, for joining us.
Thank you, Shalom. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. And that's a wrap for us here on the show all about small business, jobs, and entrepreneurship. You can always get on my website for podcast app. Apple, Google, Spotify, wherever you would like. Just search for Get Down to Business, but make sure you rate, review, and share. It makes it easier for others to find out about the past 10 plus years of content, all about small business, jobs, and entrepreneurship. To success, let's get down to business. We'll talk to you next Sunday at 6 p.m. right here on AM 560 The Answer, wherever podcasts may be found.